6 months ago, we bought a freeze dryer. This one is from Harvest Right, and the reason we bought one was because I decided to go on the carnivore diet. There's really no carnivore freeze-dried options. And when you're backpacking, like you just logistically, you just can't bring like pounds of cooked or uncooked or frozen meat with you. You gotta bring freeze-dried. So we bought a freeze dryer. It makes epic meals, it makes carnivore meals, it does all the things. And in this video, we're gonna show you how to make a carnivore meal in this Harvest Right freeze dryer. So let's dive into it. Here's an overview of the whole freeze drying process. So step one, we're gonna cook our food. Step two, we're gonna fill up these trays. There's 5 of them. Then step 3, we're gonna freeze the trays. Now there's 2 ways to do this. You can either load them directly in the freeze dryer, press start, let the freeze dryer take care of freezing everything, or you can take your trays, put them into your chest freezer, let your chest freezer do the freezing process, and then once they're frozen, step 4 is to load your trays into the freeze dryer and press start on the freeze dryer. It's really simple. Then the 5th step, after the food has been in the freeze dryer, you're gonna take all your food out and you're going to package everything. So it's a very simple 5-step process. Now let's jump into step number 1, cooking the food. So this freeze-dried meal is going to be burger, bacon, eggs, a little bit of half and half, a little bit of cheese. You can have this for breakfast or dinner. Tastes amazing, doesn't mess with my gut like a normal freeze-dried. So if we fast forward to the final product, which is going to be a packaged freeze-dried meal, we're gonna have about 1.5 cups in each freeze-dried bag of this concoction. Total calorie count, we're looking at roughly 650 to 700 calories. Here's a full ingredient list with measurements. And if you want to replicate this, you can just screenshot it. Also, if you have leftovers, you can either eat them or throw them in a Ziploc, freeze them, and put them in the freeze dryer on a future batch. Let's get to cooking. First up, let's cook this bacon in the oven. Mom actually taught me this method. It's the cleanest way to cook bacon. No splatter. Basically, you put parchment paper on a couple of baking sheets. You lay your bacon out on top of that, put it in the oven, 400 degrees for 20 to 25 minutes, and she's done. Then you just pour out the grease. This is the cleanest way to do it. You can do it inside. Pretty slick. All right, 400 degrees for 25 minutes. We should have perfectly crispy bacon. Now we're gonna crack 50 eggs. And next up, we cut the cheese. Basically, I'm just gonna do little cubes of it, and we'll add this to our omelet, because without cheese, things are just a little bland. And 25 minutes later, got some nice crispy bacon. Thick cut bacon from Costco. It's really good. And next up, we're gonna slice up our bacon. Because you can't freeze dry a whole piece of bacon. Small things in the freeze dryer seem to do better. Although I've never actually tried to freeze dry an entire piece of bacon, so maybe we should save one on this round and do that. And next up, we're gonna brown the burger, then we're gonna cook the eggs, add the cheese, add the half and half, and then we're gonna take all of the cooked ingredients, put them into this giant mixing bowl, stir it up good, let it cool, freeze it. So we're doing most of our cooking and grilling on cast iron pans now, instead of non-stick pans. There's just a lot of info about how non-stick pans leach not so goodies into your food, and we don't want that. So cast iron is about as clean as you can get. All right, next up, cook the eggs. So I found when you're doing freeze-dried eggs, cook them so that they're still a little bit runny. You don't want to have overdone eggs, because basically when you rehydrate these later in the process, if they're already too cooked and you add water, like they're gonna be really dry and like not taste that great. So cook these real lightly, keep stirring basically throughout the whole time. Like you don't want overdone eggs, you want very lightly done. And we're gonna add a little cheese for flavor. Cheese is gonna increase the fat content a little bit and add a few more calories as well. So we'll melt the cheese in. We want it to fully melt and get all mixed up. And then finally, a little half and half. And by a little, actually quite a bit. We want it pretty milky, pretty full of cream. And now we dump everything into this mixing container and we'll stir it all together. We got all the cooked ingredients in here, just mixing it so it's nice and even, and then we'll load it onto the trays and throw them in the freezer. If at any point in this video you're inspired to get a freeze dryer, check out the Harvest Right link below. It's the first link in the about in this video, and if you do decide to buy a Harvest Right freeze dryer through that link, we'll get a commission. So it'll help support my wife and I and what we're doing and making these videos. So go check out that link. And now we're just gonna spread out this mixture between all 5 trays. So when you're filling the pans, you do not want to overfill them. And basically what you want is your food to be no taller than the height of the tray. And each of these trays is probably not even quite an inch tall, maybe 3/4 of an inch. And you want all your food to just be basically right at that height. If it's any fuller, you're gonna have a hard time actually freeze drying the food. All right, we've got the concoction nice and evenly laid out on the trays. So now I'm gonna stack all the trays. I'm gonna put a piece of parchment paper between them, and then I'm gonna throw them into our chest freezer for probably 5 hours, let them freeze. All right, we've been freezing the goodies for about 6 hours. I prefer to do it in the freezer, the chest freezer, just because it seems to require less power, less energy. But you can totally skip that. You can just throw things directly in the freeze dryer and let it do the freezing. All right, so we've turned on the freeze dryer and there's 2 switches. One switch is on the pump, one is on the freeze dryer itself. Then it told us we had to wait 15 minutes. It was cooling things down, so it dropped it down to 28 degrees Fahrenheit. And now you literally just follow the instructions. It says load trays into freeze dryer, close drain valve. We're gonna do that. We're gonna load the trays. Close the drain valve and press continue. The freeze dryer has been going for about 15 hours now. Now it's beeping at me, telling me that the process is complete. What I want to do first is verify that there is no more moisture left in the food. And there's a couple ways to do that. One, you could get a little moisture measurer. It's basically like this little handheld little laser thingy, and you just point it at the food and pull the trigger and it tells you what the moisture content of that is. I don't have one of those. And so either I can just go off of feel, or what I think is the best way to do it is I'm gonna take out one of the trays. I'm going to weigh it on my food scale, and then I'm gonna put it back in the freeze dryer, let it run for another hour or 2, and then I'm gonna weigh it again when I pull it back out. And if it has lost any weight, that means there was still moisture in it, and I'll keep doing that until I'm not losing any more weight. So a little food safety hack, because you really, really don't want any moisture in your freeze drieds, because moisture leads to spoilage. Spoilage means your food will go bad, and you don't want to eat bad food. So we'll pull out this top tray, but right now, because there's a vacuum around here, we actually need to open the vent to let the air escape. And if you look right here, it actually tells you to open drain valve to vent. So we'll open the drain valve. Now we can open the door, pull out our top tray. We're gonna put it on the food scale here. So we're at 989 grams. Just feeling it, like it feels pretty dang dry, so I can't imagine it will lose much more, but I'm gonna put it back in, shut the door, and I'm gonna click more dry time. And then it says, please close drain valve. So go back over here, close the drain valve, come back here, continue, and it's gonna dry for 2 more hours. I can change this either up or down, but we'll give it 2 hours, come back and see if we lost any weight. All right, it has been 2 hours. So we're gonna pull this tray out. 988.5, so it lost half of a gram in 2 hours, which is hardly anything. But just to be safe, I'm gonna put it back in and continue it for 1 more hour. All right, it's been another hour. Let's weigh this guy. Well, it actually went up a half of a gram. So I think we're good. I think it's time to package this stuff. Got 5 trays of burger, bacon, egg, cheese, half and half concoction in front of me here. It's all very, very dry. You just like pick up a piece and then just kind of break it. I mean, it just crumbles apart. If you were to break it and it actually felt cool or like felt like there was moisture in it, that would be a sign that you want to run it a little bit longer in your freeze dryer. Now I'm just gonna take everything out of the trays and I'm gonna empty it into this big pot. And then once it's in here, I will start scooping 1.5 cups into Mylar Ziploc bags and finish the freeze drying packaging process. So let's fill this guy. Just kind of gonna break everything up because a lot of it was really stuck together. It'll make scooping it into the Mylar bags a lot easier. And these are the Mylar bags. You can get them off Amazon. They're about 20 cents a piece. This size is 5.9 inches wide by I think 8.9 inches tall. I find that to be about the perfect size. If you wanted to do more than 1.5 cups of freeze dried per bag, this might be a little small. I'd probably go up to the next size. This is just a measuring cup. 1.5 cups is right there. It's just nice and easy. I can scoop it in this guy and just dump it in the bag. Easy. Let's get to scooping. All right, first one done. All right, I just filled up 14 Mylar bags with 1.5 cups of this freeze-dried concoction. Next step is to put 1 oxygen absorber into each Mylar bag. Got these off of Amazon. These are the 300 cc size of oxygen absorbers. They have a bunch of different sizes, but basically for this size of Mylar bag, 1 300 cc oxygen absorber is about right. Now I don't vacuum seal these, but I do, once I put the oxygen absorber in, I do kind of shake it a little bit, try to get that food to settle, and then I'll basically just squeeze the extra air out. That way they're just gonna fit nice and neat in my backpack and not have a bunch of extra airspace. Our next step is we're going to run all these bags through this impulse sealer. It's just gonna seal the top. You know, right now obviously I ran my hand like this, and I did like close the little Ziploc thing there, but what this guy's gonna do is it's gonna seal this very top end. So it's not gonna be able to open up like this. These two pieces are actually gonna be like pressed together and heated real hot, and they're gonna seal together so that no air can get in. And the impulse sealer is pretty dang easy. You just turn it all the way up on this end as high as it'll go. And then you're just gonna take your bag and just your little, your end here, you're just gonna stick it in so it's just touching. You'll push the impulse sealer down until it clicks. And when it makes that clicking noise, then you're done. Then the top here is nice and sealed. So you can see this whole top edge here used to be two parts that kind of pulled apart like that. Now with this impulse sealer, it squeezed them together, heated it up real hot fast. So that top piece is sealed. Air can't get in there. Now the last step is we just have to label everything. So I'm using masking tape. All right, so when I write on these, first thing is I'm gonna put the date, 8-17-25, burger, bacon, egg, cheese, half and half, so H. And then I'm going to put how much is in here, just for my own reference, 1.5 cups. Cool. Now I'll repeat this 13 more times. And that is how you make freeze-dried in the Harvest Right freeze dryer. And if you want to eat these guys, it's really simple. It's no different than any other freeze-dried. You're going to open it up, and then you're going to fill hot boiling water all the way up to the top of the food, just to the point where the food is submerged. Then you're going to stir it up, seal it, wait 10 minutes, and enjoy. It's really simple. And again, if this video inspires you to want to get freeze-dried, if you click the link in our description, it's the first link in the description, it'll take you to the Harvest Right freeze dryer page. And if you happen to buy anything through that link, my wife and I will get a commission, and that'll help support our channel and our efforts to both educate and inspire people to get out there, have awesome adventures outside, and in this case, eat awesome healthy meals that sit well with you and don't cause gut rot. So go check out that link. Next up, I want to weigh this guy. I have a theory that my total food weight for the day is going to be a lot lighter because I'm making my own meals now. Let's throw it on the scale and find out. Ooh, 3.8 ounces. Crazy. All right, so say I have 2 of these a day, one in the morning, one for breakfast, and then one for dinner. Let's say it's 8 ounces, which is only ½ pound. And then say I have a bunch of snacks. I'll probably have a food bag that's like maybe just over 1 pound. Those freeze-drieds are very light. So I started Carnivore about 9 months ago, and then probably a month and a half ago, I reintroduced fruit back in. So when I started Carnivore, obviously I cut carbs, I also cut fruit. Specifically cutting carbs and pretty much all forms of veggies, I think, has completely fixed all the digestive problems I've had. I thought that maybe reintroducing fruit would bring those back, but it has not. So moving forward, we'll mostly be doing Carnivore with the addition of fruit. It's interesting, before all this, so like previous to 9 months ago when I was eating carbs and veggies and kind of everything, like I was eating fairly healthy, I thought, but my portion sizes were absolutely huge. The amount of food that I was eating per day was like 3.5, 4 pounds of food per day. not backpacking, but at home I was eating that much. And then when I was out backpacking, like I couldn't bring enough. My daily food weight was 2 pounds of food per day. And now after doing carnivore, now after reintroducing fruit, I seem to eat like half of what I used to. And I'm fully satiated, I feel great, I have tons of energy, but my portion sizes are smaller. Even though these freeze-dried bags are 4 ounces a pop, which for a lot of people sounds like absolutely nothing, I found eating that specific meal, that's plenty for me. I'm fully satiated after eating that amount. Time will tell, but so far, my projected food bag weight for the fall and the year ahead of backpack hunts has gone down by nearly half. So instead of a 2 pound food bag, I now have a 1 pound food bag, which is pretty crazy. But I will be sharing my findings throughout the season, so fingers crossed though that my new food bag weight is 1 pound per day. If you like this video, please hit the like button, and if you want to see more, hit subscribe. We'll see you in the next one.